Do you think you know about all the common scams that occur in Europe? Welcome, friends, to a journey of enlightenment, a journey that promises to make your European adventures safer and more enjoyable. Europe, a continent that thrives on its rich history, diverse cultures, and stunning landscapes, also harbors a less savory facet: scams. These deceptive practices can transform a dreamy trip into a nightmare if you're not aware of your surroundings. It's undeniable that scams are a universal issue, but Europe, with its bustling cities and tourist hotspots, presents a unique playground for scammers. From the winding streets of Paris to the ancient ruins of Rome, scammers are lurking, ready to exploit the unsuspecting traveler or expat. But fear not, because knowledge is power. By understanding these deceptive practices, you equip yourself with the best defense against them. Whether you're a seasoned traveler, an adventurer, a retiree, or expat, it's essential to arm yourself with this knowledge. After all, you've saved and planned for this, and it's only right that you get to enjoy it to the fullest, without the worry of falling prey to these scams. So, are you ready to become scam savvy? Stay tuned as we uncover some of the most prevalent scams in Europe, and stick with us until the end because it just gets even creepier, but you'll be given the power to turn the tables on these bad actors. Who knows? Could be kind of satisfying. First on our list is the infamous pickpocketing scam. Now this one is as old as time itself, but it has been perfected to an art in certain parts of Europe. So how does it work? Well, the pickpocket usually operates in crowded places. Think bustling markets, busy metro stations, popular tourist spots. They're often so subtle and skilled that you won't even notice your wallet or phone has vanished until it's too late. Some pickpockets work in pairs or groups, where one might create a distraction while another goes in for the steal. It's often a game of misdirection. They've got all sorts of tricks up their sleeves, from bumping into you to staging a fight. Now, the key to avoiding this scam is awareness and precaution. Keep your belongings secure and within your sight at all times. Consider using a money belt or a theft-proof bag. Be particularly cautious in crowded places where pickpockets love to operate. Remember, the pickpockets are looking for the easiest target. Don't be that person. Always be vigilant of your belongings, especially in crowded places. Next up, beware of taxi scams. Taxi scams are a common pitfall for tourists across Europe. These scams often start with drivers who conveniently forget to turn on their meter or claim it's broken, leading to an inflated fare at your destination. In other instances, the driver might take a longer, more circuitous route to increase the fare. Sometimes they may even swap your larger banknotes with smaller ones, and then insist you haven't paid enough. So how do you steer clear of these scams? First and foremost, always insist on using the meter. If the driver refuses, simply find another taxi. To avoid being taken on a scenic route, use a GPS or map app to monitor your journey. In case of banknote swapping, pay attention when handing over and receiving money. In fact, the best idea is to count the money out loud into the taxi driver's hand. Do it slowly and methodically. Scammers hate it because it works. And here's a bonus tip. Try to familiarize yourself with the local currency and learn a few basic phrases in the local language. This can greatly reduce your chances of falling victim to taxi scams. Remember to always confirm the fare before starting your journey. Currency exchange can be a tricky business in Europe. We've talked about this before. In the bustling streets and especially the tourist hotspots, you might come across money changers offering seemingly unbeatable rates. This, my friends, is where the misleading money changer scam comes into play. These scammers operate by advertising fantastic exchange rates to lure in unsuspecting travelers. Once you're hooked, they hit you with hidden fees or use confusing calculations to give you less than promised. Some even hand out obsolete or worthless currency, banking on your unfamiliarity with foreign notes. So how do you steer clear of this scam? First and foremost, be wary of rates that seem too good to be true. If the rate is significantly better than everywhere else, it's probably a trap. Always count your money before leaving the counter and never be afraid to ask questions. Familiarize yourself with the local currency and its denominations and know the current exchange rate. Most importantly, try to exchange your money at authorized centers like banks or your hotel's front desk. These places might not offer the best rates, but they're legitimate and regulated. Remember, when in doubt, it's better to be safe than sorry. It's always safer to exchange your currency at authorized centers. ATM scams are another common pitfall for tourists. Unscrupulous individuals have devised clever ways to trick the unsuspecting into giving away their hard-earned cash. One method is through a device called a skimmer. This is a piece of equipment that's illegally attached to the card slot of an ATM. When you insert your card, the skimmer reads and stores all the information on the magnetic stripe. With this data, the fraudsters can clone your card and drain your bank account. Another tactic is shoulder surfing. Here, the scammer watches you from a safe distance as you key in your PIN at the ATM. Once they have your PIN, if they've managed to clone your card using a skimmer, they have full access to your money. So, how can you avoid falling victim to these scams? First, always cover the keypad when entering your PIN number. Second, pull or wiggle the card reader. Do this every time. If it's loose or detachable, it's likely a skimmer. Lastly, be aware of your surroundings. If someone seems suspicious or too close for comfort, find another ATM. And always try to use ATMs that are attached to banks. Petition scams can seem harmless but can cost you. Picture this. You're strolling down a bustling European street when suddenly a seemingly kind individual approaches you with a clipboard, asking for your signature to support a noble cause. Easy enough, right? We actually had this happen to us in the States when I was renewing my driver's license. But here's where the scam comes in. While you're busy reading their petition, another scammer might be stealthily lightening your pockets. Or worse yet, after you've signed, and this is what happened to us, insisted on a mandatory donation for their cause and tried to pressure us into handing over our money. Let me tell you, these scammers are skilled at playing on your emotions, using causes you care about to distract and manipulate you. So, how can you avoid falling into their trap? First, be aware that not all petitions are legitimate. If you're asked to sign something on the street, take a moment to consider the situation. Don't feel rushed or pressured. It's okay to say no. And if you're asked for a donation, remember, you always have the right to decline. As the old saying goes, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So be alert, be cautious, and most importantly, remember, you don't have to sign anything you're not comfortable with. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to avoiding scams. As we wrap up our journey through the labyrinth of Europe's most prevalent scams, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We've unearthed the underbelly of pickpocketing scams, revealing their cunning tactics and swift sleights of hand. We've blown the whistle on taxi scams, exposing the hidden meters and inflated fares that can catch unsuspecting passengers off guard. We've shown a spotlight on misleading money changers who use confusing rates and hidden fees to siphon off your hard-earned cash. We dove deep into the world of ATM scams, unmasking the devices and tricks that can leave you empty-handed. And finally, we've dissected petition scams, showing you how a seemingly innocent request can turn into a nightmare. Each of these scams is a lesson in awareness and caution. They teach us that while Europe is a treasure trove of culture, history, and beauty, it's also home to those who would take advantage of our trust and excitement. But don't let this deter you from exploring this stunning continent. Instead, let it be a reminder to stay vigilant, to question things that seem too good to be true, and to always trust your instincts. Remember, these scams thrive in the shadows of our ignorance. By bringing them into the light, we strip them of their power. We transform ourselves from potential victims into informed travelers. And with this knowledge, we can navigate the bustling streets of Paris, the winding canals of Venice, the grand boulevards of Madrid, and the historic squares of Prague with confidence and peace of mind. So as you pack your bags for your next European adventure, don't forget to pack this newfound knowledge. It's the most valuable currency you can carry. And, just as I promised, here are the creepiest scams of all. This is Jonathan and Cassie signing off from Expat Freedom Trail. Be happy, stay healthy, and forever live free. Oh, and stay vigilant.